It's been 148 days since the last video on the Mustang. And literally nothing has changed with this car. I've been driving it and enjoying it, and let me tell you something that I have learned and a conclusion that I have came to on why I should have sold this car last year. Let's pull this car into the sunlight. In order to do that, we get a cold start up. Oh yeah, she still sounds incredible. But I think I made a mistake. A good mistake, a bad mistake. Regardless, it was a mistake. I mean, how could I sell this car? Just look at how good it looks. This was my semi-obtainable dream car when I got it. I was 18 years old. It was just slightly out of reach, but somehow after waiting long enough, I made it happen. I've had this car for almost 2.5 years now, and the car is still worth what I paid for it back in 2021. I bought this car with 7,000 miles, meaning I've put almost 20,000 miles on this vehicle. And it is still worth the exact same amount, if not a little bit more than what I paid for it. Last year, I got offered $3,000 more than what I paid for this car, given I have some mods. Regardless of that, I was winning. And now, I'm going to be losing. Now, it was my dream car for a couple of different reasons, but this right here, that noise, is one of the biggest ones. But the reason I couldn't sell it is because I'm way too attached to this car. I had the opportunity to make money owning this car and driving it for 15,000 miles. And there are many things, one in particular, that I hate about this car. This transmission is the bane of my existence. This is the worst thing Ford could have done and chose to do with their cars. When people ask, would you buy your car again? I think the answer would be no, because of this transmission. I mean, you have to do it. It's only right. Now, the reason I couldn't sell it last year is the same reason why I still can't sell the car, even though I'm breaking even. It's the emotional connection I have with the car and the sentimental attachment I have. I'm way too emotionally involved with this car in order to sell it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think, looking back on it last year, I should have taken the opportunity when I could have to make a couple bucks / break even with the car with the modifications and get into something better in another year, year and a half, 2 years. And one of those vehicles is the new S550 Mach 1, or I should say the old S550 Mach 1, because now the new S650 is here, but it still has the same transmission. No voodoo, meaning it has a 5.0 V8 Coyote with the Tremec transmission, is a glorious pairing. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever be buying one because I have this car. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't swap it or try to make this car better, which is most likely what we're gonna have to do. But looking back at the opportunity I was given, and for those looking to buy a Mustang, honestly, drive the car, experience it, and really consider it before buying an MT82, because the only gripe, the biggest complaint I have about this car is that transmission right there. So my transmission just blew up. If you guys are hearing that, I have no real other complaints with the car. Sure, it has small things here and there, but it's a 460 horsepower car to the crank that costs less than $40,000 right now. And when I was buying it, it was almost brand new. Now, in order to afford the other dream cars, we just need to make more money if we do want to keep this car, which is not a big deal, but just Ford. Why are we still using the MT82? Honestly, I understand cost cuttings and trying to save as much money as possible in order to capitalize on the money, but also keep the sticker prices as low as possible. But it just doesn't make sense to me when you're building a car of this caliber and performance, why we would be using a transmission, clutch, and flywheel pairing that just doesn't work with the motor. I suppose every car has a kryptonite though, and this is the one for the S550. I have the car tucked back into the garage. I guess you live, you learn, and well, I might regret not selling the car last year, but also a big part of me is relieved that I still own this car, because I've owned this car since I was 18 years old, and I hope now that I did decide to keep it, I can continue to own it, and it's one of the cars that I don't have to part ways with. I really enjoy this car, and I do love it, even though I talk about the transmission being very finicky. Now, that's all I have for the video. If you guys did enjoy, leave me a like. Subscribe to the channel, because 98% of you guys aren't subscribed, And let me know, was I dumb for not selling it? Was I smart for keeping it? And what would you have done in my situation? You can look into the past all you want, but we still have the car, so that just means we have to continue to look forward and look forward to driving this car more.